all the cool kids like Clark Howard hate annuities. They hate them. Don't you know? Fidelity is using a bait and switch to sell people on annuities, which are incredibly high expense and incredibly high commissions for the salespeople, and never perform like they are promised, says Clark Howard. I'm just sitting there thinking, Clark Howard, are you that much of a maroon? Anyway, when I was at USAA, I sold annuities. Never got paid 1 penny in commission, not 1 penny. I don't know about how they do at Fidelity, but I can almost assure you the Fidelity people, the reps on the phone, don't get paid commissions. I don't know that for sure, but I'm almost positive that's the case. Because I've worked at Vanguard, Schwab, and USAA. I know plenty of people at Schwab. I know plenty of people at Fidelity. And I don't know them getting paid commissions on selling a product. I'm just telling you right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Clark Howard, pound sand on that discussion, because that's just a blatant misinformation, which doesn't surprise me, actually. After Clark Howard's tirade against tariffs, I realized Clark Howard is infantile in his knowledge of economics. Anyway, so let's keep going. Do annuities never perform as they promised? Is that true, Clark Howard? Is that really true? Annuities never perform as promised? Oh, let's take a gander, huh? First of all, you got to identify what type of annuities you're talking about. Like Clark Howard, like all these maroons say, all annuities are bad. Well, that's just stupid to say that, because they're just not. So you're classifying a certain type of annuity. I would either think a variable annuity or an index annuity as all annuities, and that's just stupid to say, right? Because we know there's other types of annuities. Part two, does the salespeople always misrepresent the annuity? You think the sales guys at Fidelity don't tell their clients that they have surrender charges, Clark Howard? Do you really think Fidelity is going to allow its reps to tell their clients or to omit from their client presentation there are no sales charges? Do you really think that, Clark Howard? Because that is maroonish. That was I got to say. That's just maroonish. Oh, my goodness. Part three. Clark Howard. Do you really think the sales reps at Fidelity only promise the upside and don't talk about the downside? Do you really think such a heavily regulated entity as Fidelity would actually allow their sales reps to do that? Clark Howard, you are 0 for 3, my friend. You have struck out, because that's just moronic. Trust me, I've worked in call centers. I'm telling you right now, if you say anything that's perceived as promises, guarantees, anything like that, unless it's explicitly stated in the contract, this is guaranteed to happen, you are not going to be long for that job. I'm telling you right now. And on top of that, all these calls are recorded. So if a client says, Josh Scanlon, my Fidelity rep, promised me an 8% guaranteed rate of return, and I only got 6% guaranteed rate of return, and Josh Scanlon, my Fidelity rep, never once said there's a 15-year surrender charge, and I want my money yesterday, and I'm going to get hit with a 6% surrender charge, guess what happens? Fidelity's going to pull that call. Fidelity's going to say, you're right, Josh Scanlon did say that, and thus Josh Scanlon will probably get fired. He'll certainly get a talking to, and the client will be able to withdraw his funds as if they never had it like that, most likely. I can't say that for sure with Fidelity, but that's generally speaking what happened. If the sales rep is known to have misled you and you fell for it, the sales rep will be held accountable, and you will not be held accountable for the contract. Why? Because Fidelity doesn't want a lawsuit. I'm telling you. Having witnessed many people sue various financial institutions, the last thing the financial institution wants a big lawsuit. They're always going to make, and again, when I say always, not literally always, they're more often than not going to make the client right, so the client goes away. I'm just telling you right now. So Clark Howard, having said this, I don't get it, man. I know it's the cool kids. It's easy to bash annuities. I get it. The idea a big firm like Fidelity would be misleading his people on annuities is so freaking idiotic. I'm embarrassed for Clark Howard. I'm embarrassed. Jill had sent this to me to watch, and I had watched about halfway through. I said, I can't take it anymore. This guy's such a dumb butt. I'm embarrassed. Now, you could go after if you want to go after insurance agents, basically who aren't licensed, not represented by FINRA, they're just state. Plenty of insurance agents out there, not all of them, not most of them, but there are plenty who misrepresent how they their insurance products. I see that stuff all the time on LinkedIn, absolutely. But there's plenty of fiduciaries as well who misrepresent their investment prowess. It's just, if you want to go into that, say, hey, here's the investment world of fiduciaries. We can say that all day long. They're misrepresenting how they, all the time. A fiduciary is better for you than a commission-based salesperson? How so? Well, fiduciary takes your best interest. Well, is your best interest paying a lot of fees or not? Well, no. Okay, then how do you say it's your best interest? I mean, I get it. I get the scenario there that you can make a justification for that. But a fiduciary, what they'll do is say, don't listen to these commission salespeople, implying that the fiduciary is better serving you as a commission-based salesperson. It's just not necessarily true. I mean, it could be. But just because some fiduciary says he's all that in a bag of chips doesn't make it so. Do a state rep or a state-regulated insurance salesman, can they mislead people? Absolutely. But so can't fiduciary people regulated by the SEC. And I don't know if FINRA regulates fiduciaries. I don't know how that works, but they certainly regulate brokers in terms of Series 7 commission-based salesperson, that's for sure. But just because someone's a commission-based guy doesn't mean he's any worse or better than a fiduciary. Just because someone's fiduciary doesn't mean he's any worse or better than a commission-based sales guy. Just because someone's regulated by the state insurance entity doesn't mean he's worse or better than an investment guy. It's just the whole thing's stupid. And to throw Fidelity of all companies under a bus for pushing annuities as if Fidelity is going to be okay with their salespeople or the reps misleading their clients is freaking idiotic. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you. I got 30 pounds of a weight vest on. Whew. I feel like I'm back in the Army, humping my ruck. I forgot how, when you got your rucksack on and you're going up a hill, I forgot how like the top of the back of your, like where your neck and your back reach, it just starts getting, you're like, oh, you got to keep going like this with the rucksack pushing up to get that little bit of pain off. If you guys been in the Army and done road marches and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Man, we used to carry these rucks around, not just on 25-mile road marches, but like through the woods and to grandma's house we go, and man, thing would wear you down. Especially when you're carrying an M60 with freaking spare barrel tripod, freaking hundreds of rounds of 7.62. Whew, that wear you down. Now, of course, I used to put a couple cartons of Newports in my rucksack, which you always have to wrap up in Ziploc bags so I could sell them to people on the field if I ever got a chance. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. And you always make sure that they didn't get broken because you're throwing your other stuff in there, like I can't remember all the gear you used to have in there. But anyway, you say, all right, let's make sure these don't get broken, because there's nothing worse than being in the field trying to get a cigarette and then finding your cigarettes that you had humped for freaking miles upon miles, or clicks as we'd say, have been broken. You're like, oh, we finally got 5 minutes to sit and relax. I got to smoke a cigarette and it's broke. You're like, oh, dude, it's like, there's no feeling worse than that. Oh, you just want to start pounding people. You're like, dude. All right, God bless.